There is a chickadee sitting in a tree in your yard right now, and every time you walk outside, IT sends a specific call to the other birds in the area. That call has been studied at the University of Washington, at Cornell, and at the University of Montana for over 20 years, and researchers have decoded what it means. It is not a generic alarm. It is a personal threat assessment about you, specifically about you. The bird is telling the other birds in your yard, in measurable, repeatable code, how dangerous you are, how close you got, and whether they should be worried. And the most uncomfortable part of the story is that there are at least 7 things you are doing in your own yard right now, every single day, that the birds you say you love are actively begging you to stop. Not metaphorically, not poetically. They're signaling distress, alarm, and avoidance in ways that have been documented in peer-reviewed research for the last 3 decades, and almost nobody listens. Before we continue, welcome to Bird Intelligence. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden behaviors, signals, and secrets birds reveal every day, subscribe now and join the Bird Intelligence community. And while you're watching, I want you to keep score. How many of these 7 mistakes are you making right now? Tell me your number in the comments when we reach the end. Tonight, we walk through every single one. By the time we are done, you will never look at your backyard the same way again. Because if you have a feeder, a window, a cat, or a pair of garden shoes, at least 3 of the things on this list probably apply to you right now. Let's start with the one nobody warns you about. The color you wear in your yard changes how every bird in it responds to you. Have you ever thought your shirt color could affect how much birds trust you? Most people haven't. In 2014, a research team led by Piotr Trojanowski in Poland published a study in the journal Bird Study that tested how flush distance, the distance at which a bird flies away from an approaching human, changed based on clothing color. Birds let humans wearing green and dark blue get significantly closer than humans wearing red, orange, or bright yellow. The reason has nothing to do with bird taste. It has to do with predator recognition. Bright, high-contrast colors, especially red and orange, register in the bird's visual system as the high-saturation warning palette used by hawks, foxes, and other natural threats. Bird vision also extends into the ultraviolet spectrum, which means colors look more vivid and more saturated to them than they do to you. The bird does not see a person in a red shirt. The bird sees a moving threat signal at full volume. And every time you walk outside in your favorite red sweatshirt to refill your feeder, you are reducing the trust the birds in your yard have built with you over months. The fix is simple. Soft greens, soft browns, soft blues, anything that reads to a bird's eye as foliage instead of danger. Now let me ask you something. What color do you usually wear when you go outside? I would genuinely love to know if any Bird Intelligence viewers have already noticed a difference. I'm about to say something a lot of people do not want to hear. If you have an outdoor cat, your cat is killing birds. Not maybe, not occasionally, killing them. In 2013, Scott Loss, Tom Will, and Peter Mara published a study in Nature Communications, estimating that free-ranging domestic cats kill between 1 to 3 and 4 billion birds every year in the contiguous United States. The most cited figure is 2 to 4 billion. 2 of every 3 of those birds are native species. Many of them are caught at feeders where birds gather in predictable numbers at predictable times, making feeders the single most efficient cat hunting location in the suburban ecosystem. Your cat does not need to be hungry. Cats kill for play, for practice, for instinct. Even well-fed indoor-outdoor cats kill multiple birds per week during peak season. The birds in your yard know. They have alarm calls specifically reserved for ground predators. They reduce time at feeders when cats are in the area. They abandon nesting sites within 50 feet of a cat-using yard. Before we continue, I'm curious. Do you keep your cat indoors or outdoors? Let me know below. This is always one of the most interesting conversations Bird Intelligence viewers have. The fix is brutally simple. Bring the cat inside. Indoor cats live more than twice as long, are not exposed to parasites and disease, and stop being the second largest cause of bird mortality in North America. There is no compromise that works here. Bell collars reduce kills by only about 40%. KTO enclosures work. Indoor only works. Outdoor access does not. Loss, Will, and Mara published a second paper in 2014 in The Condor, estimating that between 365 million and nearly 1 billion birds die every year from collisions with buildings in the United States. 44% of those deaths happen at residential homes, not skyscrapers. Houses like yours, your sliding glass door, your kitchen bay window, the picture window, You put your feeder near. Birds do not see glass. They see the reflection of trees, sky, and open space. They fly toward what looks like safe passage and strike a barrier they have no neurological category for. Many die on impact. Many fly off concussed and die hours later in dense cover, which is exactly why you never find them. There are probably 1 or 2 windows around your house right now that are creating a risk for birds, and you may already know which ones they are. Have you ever witnessed a bird hit one of your windows? Tell me in the comments. It's something most bird lovers remember vividly. The fix is cheap. External decals spaced no more than 2 inches apart vertically and 4 inches horizontally. Tempera paint patterns, Acopian bird savers, external screens or films. Internal decals do not work because the reflection happens on the outside surface. American Bird Conservancy publishes the testing data, and you can find their recommendations in just a few minutes. If you have not marked a single window in your house, your yard is contributing measurable mortality to the bird population every year. You just are not seeing it happen. If you trim your hedges, prune your trees, or remove brush between April and August in most of North America, you may be destroying active nests. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act, in effect since 1918 in the United States, protects native birds and their nests during active breeding season. State and provincial laws extend this, and yet every spring, people fire up trimmers and chainsaws right through the peak of nesting season. Carolina wrens nesting in hanging baskets, robins on porch ledges, catbirds in dense shrubs, mourning doves on the side of a planter. You may not see the nests. They are specifically built to be invisible. But the parent birds see you coming with the trimmer. They scream alarm calls. They abandon. Eggs cool and die. Nestlings starve, even if you avoid striking the nest itself. The disturbance from a running trimmer nearby is often enough to cause abandonment in sensitive species. The fix is simple. Do major trimming and pruning from late September through early March whenever possible. If you must trim in spring, inspect every shrub carefully before you start. Carolina wren nests are particularly easy to miss because they tuck themselves into anything that looks remotely cavity-like. A hanging boot, a barbecue cover, a forgotten bucket, even a coiled garden hose. And this makes me curious. What is the strangest place you have ever found a bird nest? Some of the stories bird intelligence viewers share are incredible. People feed birds with the best intentions. They also feed them things that quietly harm them. Bread, both white and brown, has almost no nutritional value for songbirds and fills their stomachs with empty filler. Salted or roasted nuts can cause sodium toxicity. Honey can grow fungal contamination quickly. Avocado is toxic to many species. Chocolate is toxic. Onion and garlic are toxic. Cheap bird seed mixes are often dominated by milo, red millet, and cracked corn, which many North American songbirds simply throw aside while searching for sunflower seeds underneath. Most of the bag ends up wasted and often attracts less desirable species instead of native birds. Dirty feeders are even worse. The 2002 pine siskin salmonella outbreak that killed thousands of birds across the western United States spread directly through contaminated feeders during a winter eruption. The fix is straightforward. Black oil sunflower for general feeders, Niger seed for finches, suet for woodpeckers, mealworms for bluebirds. Clean every feeder every 2 weeks with a 10% bleach solution. Drain, scrub, rinse, air dry, and remove feeders for a couple of weeks. Anytime you notice a visibly sick bird, Cornell calls this social distancing for birds, and it dramatically reduces disease transmission across feeder populations. Quick question: what food attracts the most birds in your yard? Sunflower seed, suet, mealworms, something else? Share it below. You might help another bird intelligence viewer bring more birds into their backyard, because what we're about to discuss next affects birds whether you feed them or not. In fact, it affects nearly every bird that visits your yard, and most people never realize they're doing it. Birds live in a sensory world, tuned to subtle sound. Your leaf blower, your power washer, your lawn mower, your dog barking on a long lead, your kitchen exhaust fan venting outside, your air conditioner condenser, your wine chimes. Every one of these registers in a bird's auditory system as either threat noise or masking noise. A 2011 study by Clinton Francis and colleagues published in Current Biology showed that birds exposed to chronic background noise reduced nest success, abandoned territory at higher rates, and shifted vocal frequencies to compensate. A leaf blower running for 30 minutes can drive songbirds out of a quarter-acre yard for hours afterward, and the birds that return are demonstrably more stressed. But the worst offender, the one almost nobody thinks about, is the wind chime. The metallic frequencies of medium and large wind chimes overlap directly with many songbird alarm and contact calls. The birds in your yard cannot hear each other clearly when those chimes are active. They reduce vocal communication, they reduce feeder use, and in some cases, they avoid the area altogether. Now I'm curious, do you have wind chimes in your yard right now? And if you do, have you ever noticed fewer birds nearby? Let me know in the comments, because this is one of the most surprising topics in backyard birding. The fix is simple. Use power tools as briefly as possible. Schedule loud yard work for the middle of the day rather than dawn or dusk when birds are most vocally active, and either remove wind chimes or move them away from the part of the yard where you feed and watch birds. This next one is something almost nobody knows. The way you walk through your own yard matters. Birds read intent. A direct line approach toward a feeder, a tree, or a bird itself triggers flush behavior. A direct gaze, locked on a specific bird, triggers flush behavior even faster. Birds interpret eye contact from large mammals as predatory targeting, because that is exactly what hawks and foxes do before an attack. The fix takes practice. Approach feeders at oblique angles, not straight on. Move at a steady, slow pace, not stop and start, because stop and start movement resembles a stalking predator. Look slightly past a bird instead of directly at it. Speak softly. Do not suddenly lift cameras or binoculars to your face, because the movement of a hand toward the face can mimic the strike posture of a raptor. Birds in suburban yards can be trained over weeks and months to tolerate a human within a few feet, but only if that human approaches like another animal that is not hunting them. Have you ever had a bird let you get surprisingly close? Maybe a chickadee, a mourning dove, a robin, a cardinal. Tell me how close it got. I read every comment, and these stories are always fascinating. The birds that visit your feeder today are the survivors of generations that learned to read these signals. They are reading you every second you are in the yard, and every behavior you change to acknowledge that earns you a small piece of their tolerance. The birds in your yard cannot speak, but they are signaling constantly every single day in calls, postures, and flight distances that have been measured, published, and confirmed in peer-reviewed studies. They are asking you, in the only language they have, to bring the cat inside, to mark the windows, to wait until September to trim the hedges, to stop wearing bright red, to clean the feeder, to put down the leaf blower, to slow down when you walk toward them. Almost nobody does. Most viewers of this video will not change a single thing on this list, but the few who do will notice something remarkable. Within a few weeks, the birds in their yard get closer, stay longer, trust more, and sing more openly. That is a relationship that has always been available. Most people simply never learned how to listen. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 7 mistakes surprised you the most, and which one are you going to fix first this week? I genuinely want to know. And if you learned something new today, subscribe to Bird Intelligence for more science-backed insights into the hidden lives of the birds around you, because the more you understand what birds are trying to tell you, the more incredible every visit to your backyard becomes. Thank you for watching Bird Intelligence, and I'll see you in the next one.